Hey everyone, it's CL. So we are practically within the summer months, and with the summer comes the abundance of yard sales. So my love-hate relationship with yard sales is that when you find a really good yard sale, you can stock up on a lot of items for a really good deal, and your return on investment can be very large. Like when you hear yard sale, it feels like something that's no big deal. You just drive to somebody's house, you see what they're selling. But for me, yard sales can be kind of exhausting. And if I had to tell you like which part of it is exhausting, and I couldn't tell you, I think it's like the overall experience. So where I live, there's like 3 types of neighborhoods. You have the gated community, you have like these larger houses that are kind of further out. They're on like a standard grid type neighborhood. And then the majority of yard sales that I go to are these neighborhoods where the houses are very closely packed together. And it's like a maze of a neighborhood. I guess the part that's frustrating to me is that it feels like there's never anywhere to park because we're packed like sardines and we're fighting for space. The neighborhoods that are very closely packed together, those are the neighborhoods that are like this windy maze. Where I grew up, it was like a standard grid. If you get lost, you can always just make a couple right turns and you're back on track. So when I'm in the neighborhood where it's like this windy maze, sometimes I have the idea of like, I'll just keep driving and eventually I'll come out through the other side. And I keep going through this windy maze and there is no other side. I eventually hit a cul-de-sac and then I have to backtrack. And then those neighborhoods are hard because as you're driving around finding yard sales, you kind of lose track of where you've been. Like, did I already go through this neighborhood? Did I already pass by this house? And I think that can also add to like a frustrating yard sale experience. And then you have those moments where you approach a house for a yard sale and you just want to kind of browse, buy what you want to buy, and then leave. Every weekend, there is always that person that will park their car in the middle of the road. I think in their mind, they think they're going to be quick and they're just going to jump out of their car, look at the yard sale, jump back in their car. But no, they're in the middle of the road. No one can get around them because there's cars parked on the side and you have to like wait for them to move. And it just feels so inconsiderate. Like, kid you not to do that? So now that it's summer, I've been browsing yard sales. Like, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll see what yard sales are advertised. And lately I've been seeing signs, huge yard sale starts at 7 a.m. and then I wake up at 7 a.m. and I try to get like a head start because if there's gonna be like 50 houses, I want to make sure I wake up early enough to where I can browse as many as possible. And then I wake up and go to this huge community yard sale and then it's only like 5 houses, 7 houses, and I'm driving around following the signs of where these yard sales are and there was nothing near what they advertised. And I'm not sure if it's because like some people haven't woken up and haven't started yet, but if I'm up at 7 a.m. and you're saying you're starting at 7, I'm only gonna drive through that neighborhood once and then I'm gonna go home. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there have been times where the yard sales have been abundant, but I have just rage quit because the process feels tedious and maybe I'm hitting houses where I'm not really finding anything, so there's like a lot of disappointment there. But so far, every time I say one more house, that one more house has always been the house that I have purchased the most things. So for the most part, when it comes to listing, I have been very good staying on top of it. Like when I bring something in, I am able to get it listed, get cross-listed, put it away. But now that I have been sourcing more things at the yard sales and coming back home with bigger piles, I am very quickly falling behind. So for me, I resell out of my apartment, so I don't have the luxury of having like a storage unit or like a garage where I can just put my death pile and deal with it when I have time. And you can like have that luxury of just closing the door on your death pile and not having to look at it, not having to think about it until you want to. But I think there's some pros and cons to my situation. So on the negative end, when I do have a death pile, it's very apparent because I do live in a smaller space and it makes my home look like trash. And that is something that I absolutely hate. I don't like my home looking disorderly and looking like I have like a junk pile. So on the flip side of that, I'm more aware of it. Like every time I go into my living room, I see my death pile and I have that kind of sense in me of like, I need to deal with that and put it away because I don't like how it's making my apartment look. It makes the problem more in your face. It's not something that I can just hide and put away and deal with later. And the clip that I will show you next, this is my death pile after 2 weekends full of yard sales. So this is my current yard sale death pile, which I accumulated over 2 weekends. So I think my initial plan is, I don't like how everything is piled up here. I think it looks really messy. So the first thing I want to do is get all this stuff up off the floor. So after I take inventory of the new stuff, I am going to try to hang as much as possible. Even the clothing rack has a pile on top of it, but I'm going to try to put everything on hangers, get everything off the floor, throw away bags and boxes I don't need because I just don't like how it looks. So that's where I'm going to start for now. And I think that's a common problem that we encounter as resellers, is having a death pile and not listing things right away. Like, we let it pile up. So since it is the summer, you want to take advantage of all these yard sales going on. But if you can imagine, if I keep accumulating more and more things and I'm not on top of it as far as listing and getting these things sorted away in my small space in my apartment, it is going to pile up so quickly. I just can't have a huge pile in my living space. So I guess that's a little bit motivation for me to stay on top of it and to make time for these things. And here's the things when it comes to yard sales. Your return on investment can be so great, but that's only if you're listing these items. How many times have we accumulated things and have just let it sit? If you're someone that has had a death piles of things that you purchased years ago, that's where you need to really take a pause on buying and get that stuff listed. I am gonna work really hard over this past week, and hopefully I can make a huge dent today to get my huge pile listed, cross-listed, and put away. I am on a buying ban until I get 90% of the stuff I purchased over the last 2 weekends until I get them listed. So I also told myself that I wasn't gonna purchase any more books until I list the pile that I have. But this weekend, I couldn't help it. The deal was too good and I ended up buying 2 more boxes of books. So as far as cross-listing, I'm very small scale and can still handle things on my own. And as far as like cross-listing, I don't use the service. I actually do it on my own. And I honestly think that my process doesn't even take that long. It's just a matter of doing it. The hardest thing is getting over that mental hurdle of doing something tedious. I just can't justify purchasing all these services like subscriptions and listing services and Posh VAs or whatever. Those subscriptions are all things that are going to eat into my profits. I'm just focusing on being consistent and growing my store, and being on top of things is actually starting to pay off. My sales are definitely going up the more consistent I've been, but the hard part is maintaining that consistency. But anyways, I'll keep you updated on how it goes with me listing my death pile for my yard sale. This bin here are items that I have already listed, but they need to be bagged and I need to add it to my cross-listing pile. So this basket is full of things that have been cross-listed. They just need to be assigned an inventory number and put away. This bag over here are things that I've already posted to one platform but need to be cross-listed slowly. So every once in a while I will branch away from clothes and I will sell like hard good type things. So I came across a couple lunch boxes. I got this one here, comes with a thermos. I got a Batman one. I also came across a new reselling YouTuber that mainly focuses on electronics, and it seems like he's making a killing selling electronics. So I was slowly branching out, trying to buy a few electronics here and there because I learn by doing, and I want to see if I'll have any luck in electronics. So I picked up this keyboard. I don't know if it works. It was cheap enough to where I'm willing to take the chance. I'll go ahead and test it out eventually. But I didn't run comps or anything yet. I just want to see, like, if I list something in the electronics category, how fast it will sell. It might be worth putting more time into if it's lucrative. But other than that, please let me know down below if you love or hate yard sales and why does it feel so exhausting going to them. If you'd like to see more from me, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.